Hello guys and gals. We're back with more Heracross Brick Break. It is a game by Argon Vile. So, anyways, let's go ahead and see here. We're gonna have to go full screen on this, which I know makes the image small. I can't really do anything about that. I need to move the mouse cursor around, and if it just limited this little square here, then it's if it's limited just this little square here, then it gets annoying. But anyways, full screen. And we're going to do the hardest easy mode. And this is Cobalion. No, this is Virizion. Shields up. Uh-oh. Fire is a pretty good power up. And then we just pick up this time. Times of the essence. Okay. Ooh, that's nice. So we just go bop. Whoa. There we go. Speed it up a little bit. So definitely Virizion. Ooh. 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 Man, I kind of lost everything there. A shield, and I missed the power up. That was funny. Okay. Oh well, there, we got some power ups coming in. Nice. Okay. It's funny how there's this area right here that isn't getting hit, which is fine. It's just funny. Okay. I thought sure that the ball would come back down by now. I'm glad it didn't. There we go. 20 seconds. That's huge. Whoa. Uh-oh. Two shields. That was very helpful. We don't really need to get the fire power-ups anymore. I mean, there's no harm in getting them, but getting more does not actually help us in any way. Sometimes getting extra power-ups does help, like with the ice power-up, because it repairs your ice wall, your ice barrier. But yeah, also with the grass, it fires off more projectiles. The psychic, it hits more blocks, even after it's fully charged. Um, uh-oh. Whoa. That juked me pretty good. Whoa. Whoa. Rizan does have some neat looking boots. Okay, not quite as nice as, say, Sawsbuck's boots in winter form, because they get the boots with the fur. But anyways, this is still some pretty sweet looking boots. Uh, uh-oh. Okay, there we go. Good. Okay, the low ceiling is gone, thankfully. Oh, uh-oh. There we go. Whoa. That was a lot of time coming in. That was awesome. Okay. Love the time power-ups. Speed up. Oh, shield. Oops, missed. There. Wow. I misjudged that. By a rather large margin, actually. More than just a couple pixels. Okay, there we go. There we go. It is Verizian. And let's see, we got how many points? 17,430. Anyways, let's go to the credits. Credits are art, code, and sound by Argon Vile, Tis No Guard, Passerby. Special thanks to the Fuxel team, the Flash Develop team, and Tom B. and for Estes Fixer, and all the talented games I issued brand ideas ripped off in making this game. Final score was 17,430 points. Favorite power up was Fire. Total Pokemon lost 0, I think. Yeah, how do you do that? That's very weird. We continued in Heracross Brick Break 2 available on PS4 and ColecoVision in 2014. So anyways, there's that. So that is a nice warm-up. So that is a nice start. Next, we'll do this one. Hardest hard mode, because it introduces this new game mode where you have to go through a certain set of steps in order to win here. Okay. Okay, that's close. There we go. Looks like we were getting ice. Okay, we'll wait in the middle. Okay, we're safe here. Ice barrier saved us there. Whoa, okay, wait, okay. Drat missed. Okay, that's fine. Whoa, that was close. Whoa, that was close. That was my bad. I didn't hit the ball in the right angle. Well, that's close. Ghost is nice, but in this situation, I'm going to stick with ice. Because the AoE effect is pretty cool. Literally, it's a hailstorm, so of course it's cool. It's probably very, very downright cold. Whenever you're dealing with snow and ice and hail and natural disasters and some such. Ooh, that was close. Pick up some more time. Okay. Okay. Get the ball going a little bit faster. It does tend to get stuck up there sometimes. Ooh, that was close. Now here it comes. There we go. Oh, darn. That's okay. I think we can basically power this down now. Do this. Uh-oh. That was a bad idea. I think we'll still win, but yeah. That was interesting. I didn't expect to win that. We did really well, and then I accidentally got the ghost power up. But anyways, that's fine. So anyways, we have credits art code and sound by Argon Vile, Test No Guard, Passerby, Special Legs, the Flixel team, the Flash developed team of Tom V and Frestus Fixer and all the town game designers whose brilliant ideas were ripped off in the making of this game. Final score was 100 something. Because I know you get 100,000 points for winning. 123,480. Favorite power up ice. Topogon lost 11. Never forget Absol, Archon, Credilli, Doduo, Hoot Hoot, Mudkip, Nidorina, Ninkata, Ponyard, Sandile, and Zangoose. We continued in Heracross Brick Break 2 available on PS4 and ColecoVision in 2014. Okay, I think we're ready to do an expert run. An expert run. Oh boy. I don't think we've ever actually, I know we haven't ever won an expert run. But we have Reg Ice here, or Reggie Ice, however you want to say it. Ooh, okay. Uh-oh. Okay. Uh-oh. Drat. I was trying to be extra careful too, but even being extra careful wasn't quite enough. Okay. Whoa. Okay. Oh boy. Oh. We just have one more spot we need to hit. Oh boy. Can we hit it? There we go. Nice. Here's a sec. Okay. Take this. Don't worry, the timer isn't running or anything, so it's fine. Okay, so up next we have Larvesta. This is definitely Larvesta. I'm currently have one as my buddy in Pokemon Go, so I can farm the 400 candy needed to evolve the thing. Yeah. This is definitely Larvesta. Yeah. Oh, ooh, whoa, 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 whoa. There we go. Well, as much as I like to get the ball up there, this is actually good because it's giving us a wonderful hailstorm. Got it. Okay, we got it. We got it. Okay. Oh, there we go. Let's try to do that. Oh, grass. We're going to try to avoid the grass power-up and get all the power-ups that we actually want. Okay, here we go. Get all the speed-ups we can get. Speed-up is usually pretty good for this power-up. It doesn't exactly do any bonuses like it does for the Psychic. I think it has bonuses for Psychic. I know it has bonuses for Electric. Just like Slowdown has bonuses for the Rock or the Fighting power-up. Okay. Well, the ball's going to be coming down here very soon. So we'll be ready. Okay, we'll get the speed up again. The problem with the ice power-up is that if the ball does get stuck up there, you're not really getting any bonuses or benefits. Because you have to actually have the ball hit the paddle in order to get the hailstones to show up. Okay, well now that should fix it. Yep. Whoa. Uh-oh. Low ceiling is okay here because we can just keep picking up these power-ups and fixing the ice barrier as it breaks. Oh boy. Wow, okay. But yeah, this is actually when we have a nice little hailstorm going, then it's fine because we have like constant damage to all the blocks, constant AOE damage, which is really helpful. I don't even mind getting that slowdown. In fact, we'll speed the ball back up. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's close that. Okay, nice. That's our Vesta. Use your paddle and reflect hailstones to build up a stronger hailstorm. Yep, that's what we do. Beedrill. This is definitely Beedrill. Might as well get this power up. Oh, yeah. You know, under normal circumstances, we get ice, but since we have such a wide diversity of grass here, we're gonna use the grass power up. As you can see, it just shreds through everything. As long as we get the power ups, though. Now we're kind of at a dry spell. Oh, there we go. Never mind. I would say at this point that we could probably get rid of the ball. We're gonna get rid of the ball. The ball is just a liability at this point. So we will sacrifice the ball. And it's Beedrill. Yeah, that's true. I have done that before. Max out the ghost power-ups. That's super powerful. But it's also very dangerous because if you miss enough, then you can basically just lose in a couple seconds if you're not careful. And even if you are very careful, it's still easy to make a mistake. Especially if you like get a power-up that isn't the ghost power-up and then you have like 60 balls on the screen. Well, actually, the most you can have is 20. If you have like the max amount of balls on the screen and then all of a sudden you can't like deflect them all back, then you basically lose like all your time. So it's just kind of a double-edged sword. Ooh. I'm going to stick with grass. Fire would probably be a little bit more helpful, but oh boy, okay. Oh, there we go, got it. Okay, we're gonna slide in over here. This is Cherim, by the way. I should have said that sooner because I knew it the second I saw it. But this is Cherim, yeah. I get it and Cherubi mixed up, but Cherubi is the cherry one. Cherim, I think, is like the first form. Or wait, second form. I don't know. This is like one of the forms of I don't know. There's one that's like the cherry form, and then I don't know. It's one of those weird ones I can never really remember very well. I remember it in Legend Arceus though, because there was a quest to like find one. And you had to find it in different seasons and stuff like that. Because people were convinced it was a different type of Pokemon or something, so you had to like show them that it was like just the same Pokemon, just a different form. It's like during sunlight or something, it got a different form. So when people saw it, oh, it's like a different Pokemon. But you know, back then people didn't really know much about Pokemon. I like today. I mean, people know more about Pokemon these days, but I mean, it's still like every time a new generation comes out, then it's like, oh, well, this is an interesting Pokemon. But back then, in like the Hisuian days, aka Legends Arceus days, people just were afraid of Pokemon, which is perfectly reasonable. If you lived in a world of Pokemon or Pokemon were real, you'd be terrified. You got Groudon out, you know, expanding the land. You got Kyogre out, flooding everything, trying to make everything water. You have Entei out every time it barks and a volcano explodes, you know. You have you know, Tyranitar that goes around eating mountains. Well, it's one of the Tyranitar line that like eats a mountain or something. So they like have to totally like remake the maps every time the Tyranitar eats a mountain or something. Reminds me of this one Magic the Gathering card. Um, I don't even remember what the card was. Maybe someone who is a big fan of Magic the Gathering could remind me, but it was kind of funny because the flavor text of the card was well, basically one of the monuments was like sentient. And so well the flavor text was like, well, the oops, that meant I didn't mean to do that. The flavor text of the card was like, oh well, I guess the monument just moved or something like that. The last monument of this area just moved away because it was like a living monument. And it's like, okay, yeah. Okay, if we're gonna fire's fine. And the text was just like all matter of fact, like, oh wow, this monument just moved away on its own. It's like, oh, I guess it's just a normal day in whatever land that took place in. There was a time when I wouldn't say I actively collected Magic the Gathering cards. I mainly liked them because of the cute sayings that were on them. The one of the cards was a tarpon, which is like this horse thing, which is actually an animal, a tarpon. It says, I think that it was something like, um, a good tarpon will serve you faithful and true. A bad one will kick you in the head. And it's true. I think I actually like bought that card off of eBay or something. It came in a pack of four. So I had four tarpon cards. Just basically because I just thought that was hilarious, you know? It's true. I mean, because tarpon were like, well, I think tarpon are basically based off of donkeys. And so, there's that other name for donkeys. Um, and they're considered one of those because they're like wild desert donkeys or something. So yeah, I'm sure that if you encountered a tarpon, it would probably kick you in the head. And that wouldn't feel too good. There was a time, a long, long, long time ago, and we're talking back when there was like only a very few Magic the Gathering sets. When I basically just wanted to like just collect all the sayings and all the like the flavor text off of every single card. I mean, that never happened because there's like thousands and thousands of cards now. So, I mean, well, a person could technically do research and basically get the flavor text off of every single card in existence. It would be very time consuming. And I just, oh, well, there, that went that. But yeah, at one time that was my aspiration, was to basically just go through, do research and get like the flavor text off of every single Magic the Gathering card in existence, even the rare cards. But I didn't really actually ever put in the effort to do that. I just really always admired Magic the Gathering because of the flavor text, Because a lot of thought went into the flavor text. Probably as much work and thought that went into the actual pictures on the cards. Um, let's see, what was it? I'm trying to think. It was Magic the Gathering. I mean, it was World of Warcraft when they had the TCG, and I'm probably they probably still do. But I used to collect Magic World of Warcraft also. The TCG from that. And one of the cards, it was funny because one of the cards was this fox called McCloud, McCloud the fox, It was a reference to Star Fox. Because Fox McCloud, and this was McCloud the fox. And I was always so happy because I got that card in like one of the packs, and it's a really cute card. Actually, I could probably even find it right now because I know right where it is. But actually, belay that. I don't know exactly where it is. I might not put it back where I was supposed to put it, so it might be lost now. But I just always thought that was kind of cool because it was such good artwork and it was just kind of a funny little joke, and a nod to Star Fox. Anyways, this is Cherim. This is Doug Trio. Uh, yeah, okay. Ooh, ooh. But yeah, there was a time when I would like collect a bunch of like random TCGs, you pre Pokemon days, And there was a time when back in the beginning, like even when the cards first came out, I was collecting them, because my dad would basically was a comic book collector, and so we'd go to the comic shop, and then he'd buy me a couple packs of Pokemon cards, and sometimes they'd be like first edition because they were new. I mean, this was back when the TCG was brand new. I do actually have quite a few first edition of the Team Rocket cards, which was like the second expansion or something. No, wait, it was like it was prior to Fossil, I think, because Fossil was when I quit collecting. Or wait, I can't remember. I just remember that the symbol on the card was like this Aztec pyramid. I don't know what set that was, but I remember that I had a few. Oh, Neo Genesis, I think it was, or Neon Genesis. Oh, uh-oh. Ooh, since we're so fine, we'll do that. Okay. I probably should have tried harder to get more of that time, but I didn't want to risk losing my power up. But yeah, I remember that I just got a few packs of those, and then I just basically, I think my dad quit collecting comics because it got to be too expensive. But there was a time when he was collecting enough comics that he would get a discount whenever he would buy comics because he was buying lots and lots of comics. And he ended up with like 5 to 10,000 comic books, literally. Um, Conversely, I ended up with 15, 16,000 Pokemon cards. Not out of that, I mean, total, like throughout my lifetime. But then came like Neopets. Neopets had like a TCG also. And they were all basically based off of Magic the Gathering because Magic the Gathering was like the grandfather of like all games. People were like, "Oh, this formula really works. So let's go ahead and make everything a Magic the Gathering clone." And that's like where Hearthstone came from. Except Hearthstone was more of a digital thing. It wasn't like physical, but it was basically a take on the thing. But yeah, I didn't collect Pokemon cards for very long. I'm back to collecting them again though. But there was a time when I collected them more, and I ended up with some pretty nice cards. I think for at one time I had like a Blastoise or something. The first edition, well, it wasn't first edition, but it was from the base set, Blastoise, I think, or maybe it wasn't Charizard. It was one of the starters. I don't ever know what happened to that one, but and if you're wondering if I still have them, I do still have all the cards. And when I was going through stuff, I found an entire another container of cards I didn't remember I had. This is Reshiram, by the way. I should have said that first, but I was too busy talking about TCG. When I start talking about TCG, it's hard to get me to stop. Okay, we're going to be careful here. There we go. Um, thing about Reshiram, totally off topic, but it's one of those controversial Pokemon because, and I'll show you why here in a second. Um, there were several Pokemon that were kind of, well, controversial. One of those was Blaziken, and it's not for the reason you'd think, or maybe it is. I don't know. Basically, also Decidueye. And it's for silly reasons. And at the time I didn't really realize some of this, or people were thinking this, but okay, we'll go over it. I promise. I just have to. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay, so people, one of the problems people had with Reshiram was this part right here because it looked like, well, Reshiram is supposed to be female, by the way. I do want to point that out. So there's no way that this is a, there's no way this is a, there's no way that that's what it is because Reshiram is female. I think canonically Reshiram is female. Um, but even if it was male, I'm pretty sure they don't put that on Pokemon. Another controversial Pokemon was Blaziken because in Pokken Tournament it looked like Blaziken's feathers on the crotch looked like a certain thing, and a parent saw it and said, "Oh, that looks like yeah, that looks inappropriate." I'd say the same thing about Decidueye, even some of the latest things, but it's just basically crotch feathers. I will say though that Ting Lu is well, Ting Lu is basically a spirit that inhabits a generic fake structure. Oh, this is um Fungus. Yeah, because Among Us would have the shields. Um, but yeah, don't know why people think birds have that. I mean, they do. I mean, ducks do. But anyways, but yeah, there's some controversy because of the way that some of the models were drawn. But with Ting Lu, you have basically a spirit that inhabits a clay structure, and that clay structure is um, that clay structure is definitely male, and they kind of show that. Um, basically Ting Lu is a moose, basically, or an ungulate, a bovidae maybe, even-toed ungulate probably, or an odd-toed ungulate. But nobody ever really points that out. Whoa, that was close. I kind of like this power up. Yeah, this is fungus. Oh, okay. Ooh, didn't expect it to get caught on that brick, so I was almost caught off guard by that. But that's always really interesting when you see we're going to bring up something that's controversial. Um, some sites, image boards. I'm not going to say which one. You know which one it. You know which one it is if you trust me. You know which one it is. Um, there are certain standards and things that count as explicit if they're shown. I'm just going to say that, and they do a really good job of policing the policies there. You know, making sure that images are tagged accordingly. um, to the point to where some of the silly things are like explicit. Um, I can give several examples of that. You know that like sometimes like in I say mainly in Asian, even like manga and stuff. You'll have a cartoony character or something, and if it shows oh, how do I say this? It's a common practice, I think, like in those Asian countries to depict certain a certain orifice as an X, a cartoony X. And if you were to post something like that on what this image board I'm talking about, it would be counted as explicit because it is showing, an orifice that is supposed to be covered up by undergarments. So yeah, that's the safest way I can say it. And I get that it's for safety, and there's a sister site of that particular image board that has only safe art, not even questionable. I think it's only safe art. It's actually the site that I use to link this game into YouTube because it only posts safe images. So even if something had a cartoon butthole, then it wouldn't show up on the sister site that only has clean images because depicting something like that would be seen as explicit. And that goes for like real life photography too. Like if you take a picture of a horse, I mean not even intentionally, but if it's like a gelding and you have an angle that shows it's well, you know, then that would be explicit even though the intent was not meant to be sexual. Oh, and we made all the way to stage 7 while I was talking. Wow. Color me impressed. Oh, let's do it again. Oh, it's Mr. Mime. Hello, Mr. Mime. You got an evolution and a regional form in Gen 8, which is kind of cool. Considering you got a baby form in Gen 2, wasn't it? Wasn't it Gen 2 that had, no, wait, maybe it was Gen 4. Because I know that in Legends Arceus you find Mime Jr. I don't know what generation Mime Jr. was in. But, um, but yeah, I'm just prattling on about image boards and stuff that if I was getting monetized, I'd get demonetized probably. But I mean, I get the intention of, censoring stuff that could be seen as like that. But what got me here? Why am I talking about this? Oh. Um let's see. But yeah, if you look carefully at basically images of Tinglu from a certain angle, then don't get me wrong. I love Tinglu. It's a dark ground type actually. Oh man. Okay, well, that didn't go at all as planned. Um yeah, because the Runas Quartet, Wochen, Chiyu, Ogerpont, no, I'm kidding. Um Wochen, Chin Pao, that's the one. And Tinglu, okay, so let's see. Chin Pao was the tiger with the ice kitty with the sword fangs. Um Tinglu was the moose. Wochin was the snail. But I don't really bring it up because I don't really want Nintendo to change the design or anything. So I don't really bring it up. Um, but usually another thing is in most situations, okay, that was close. In most situations, legendaries don't have genders, and it's not for the reason you think. Or maybe it is. Um, it's Mr. Mime. Oh, this is Larvesta again. Okay. Um, now, canonically, I mean, okay. In the first Pokemon movie, Mewtwo was male, or had a male voice actor, which doesn't really, this day and age, that doesn't really mean anything just because Mewtwo had a masculine voice. Then later, I don't even remember what movie it was. It wasn't a movie I actually saw. I've only seen up to Lucario and the Mystery of Mew. And then I didn't watch any of the movies until the what was it? What was the one that I watched? I don't even remember. Okay. Anyways, then I started watching them again, like when they re-released the first movie or something. And then there's like The Power of Us and oh, I Choose You. Maybe it was I Choose You was the first movie I watched, after a while. And then I just started, watching all of them, in order until I got to like Lucario and the Mystery of Mew. My favorite has to be the one that has Zoroark in it. But anyways, in terms of legendaries and gender, they don't give obviously they don't give legendaries genders because well they don't want you to basically just breed them with a Ditto and end up like with like 500 Mewtwo's or something. And the way they could fix that and the way they do fix it is they just say, oh yeah, legendaries can't breed, they're just like their own thing. Um, Another thing about gender is I think that in the second movie, whatever one that had Lugia in it, the guy who created Lugia meant for Lugia to be female, and the poor guy, he kind of had a rough time. If you're not familiar with the whole Lugia story and about the guy who created Lugia and all of his inner demons, then it's kind of really tragic. There was a really informative video. I don't know if I'll remember to link it or not, but it was really fascinating. Um, basically, it was basically the guy who basically came up with like a lot of the plot lines, some of the wild plot lines, like in the first season, and it got to the point to where the plot lines were a little bit too wild, and he was in a bad way, let's just say. But one of his things he regretted most was that they made Mewtwo, I mean not Mewtwo, but they made Lugia male when Lugia was supposed to be a caring female character or something. So canonically, according to the person who created Lugia, Lugia was meant to be female, but they made it male in the movie. And that kind of really bothered the creator of Lugia. Oh, it's what's his name? This is Larvesta. This is a kind of a rare text right here. This is Bayleaf, by the way. But anyways, we're just talking about male. I mean, we're just talking about characters and their canonic genders. Um, I could see. I mean, I like that legendaries have canonic genders. I mean, but Pokemon is basically you can see it any way you want. If you want to, I mean, and then later, a couple movies later, as I was saying, Mewtwo was voiced by a female, so Mewtwo wasn't the same Mewtwo from the first movie, I guess, or something. And a lot of people found that confusing. And had I seen that movie, I probably would have thought so too. I think that it was a Genesect movie, if I'm not mistaken, or something. And it was from like Gen 6 when they had, Megas and stuff, because then it was like Mega Mewtwo Y or something. And I don't know why. And, but I like to think, the way I like to see it, and I might be wrong. Again, it's just an opinion. Probably not even a good opinion, but oh no. Okay, there we go. Is it's kind of like, well, the creator of Pokemon himself said that you can say the Pokemon's names either way and it's right. I mean, so people have like said funny things like Decidui for Decidueye and Magnemite for Magnemite and stuff like that. And it's just as valid as saying like the actual name. I mean, I'll say like Regice instead of Regice because to me, Regice would have two eyes in it. I mean, that's kind of a silly way to look at it. But it's just that Pokemon is a very specialized thing. I mean, if you want to see Mewtwo as being female, then that's perfectly fine. Um, the point is that legendaries technically or typically don't have canonic genders, but like I said, Reshiram I think is supposed to be female. I don't remember why I think that, but I guess what started this was talking about controversies. Someone seeing like the Pokken tournament sprite of Blaziken and seeing something in those feathers that honestly wasn't there. And I'm not saying that Blaziken is female. Blaziken has just as much chance to be male as female. It's just now with some Pokemon, aka Lucario, Zoroark, those are primarily male. Now, the funny thing about that is, I don't know if that applies to Riolu too, but every time that I played through Legends, no, not Legends, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, I played through Scarlet twice and Violet once. Um, I found a Riolu that was female, and I really didn't think much of it. The gender ratio of Lucario is I want to say 85% chance to be male, which is kind of strange. If you're going by, canon gender ratios. Even Pokemon like Mr. Mime, and I'm going to explain why that's fine and the explanation to it. Um, Even Pokemon like Mr. Mime, who has like the what is it called? The title Mr. has a 50% chance to be female. So you could have a female Mr. Mime. That's just basically because what just happened here? Why did it do that? Okay. Uh that's because the Japanese uh what is it? It's not affirmative or whatever it's called. It's well, their equivalent of like Mr. and Mrs. is different. So they in the translation they said Mr. Maybe it would be like Madame and Mr. or something, or it was different because the localize the localization was different or something. So it makes sense, but it's just kind of interesting to know that it's Mr. Mime yet it can be female. Now some Pokemon are always going to be female no matter what, like Nidoran female, Nidoqueen, Miltank. Um, the only male Pokemon that can learn Milk Drink is Go-Goat. And Go-Goat has a 50% chance, I think, to be male or female. And male Go-Goats can learn Milk Drink, which is kind of just one of those interesting facts that don't really mean anything. Anyways, we're going to speed this up a little bit. Okay. There are some Pokemon that are only male, like off the top of my head, Tauros, because it's a wild bull Pokemon, and Miltank is the cow, so and they're a generation apart, which is kind of weird. The only way you could actually get more Tauros in Gen 1 would be to breed a Tauros with a Ditto, because, or at least I figured that, I think that's how it works. Anyways, also, of course, Nidoran male is another example of a male only. Um, Braviary, Braviary, I think, is the male, or Rufflet, is the male counterpart to Mandibuzz and Volibee. They're always female, Volibee and Mandibuzz. Very tanky Pokemon, by the way. So, but they're like counterparts to each other. Um, Mandibuzz is the enemy of Cubone and Marowak, which is kind of interesting considering that Cubone are Generation 1 and I don't know what generation those were, 5, I think. But it's kind of nice that, well, I guess Cubone didn't get any love, it got an enemy, but that's Bayleaf. This is Zweilous. Has 2 heads, not 3. Or 1. But yeah, sometimes you end up with the gender ratio thing. With like the humanoids like Lucario and Zoroark. Being 85% male. Not very much of a female population there. But I think it probably goes back to them being competitive and well, Lucario, actually, if you read the Pokedex entry, Lucario are very scary. Very violent and not what you would like see in like we kind of see that in the anime, like when the is her name Karina? I don't remember what her name is because I don't really watch the show. But in Gen 5, she's the lady that gives you a Lucario, or well, technically Lucario decides to join you. Um, um, in the anime, I think again I don't remember because I haven't actually seen it. Lucario Mega evolves and Karina loses control of it, and it gets to the point to where the Lucario almost unalives Pikachu, which is like, and that's until somebody steps in with a Lucario of their own and is able to tame it. But Lucario is kind of scary, especially that scene, because you see it like really upset and ooh. But yeah, it a lot of the Pokedex entries are like about how violent they are and like how territorial they are. Yeah, I know. I made that expression too. Uh, but again, that is, I guess it's canon, but it's not like canon you actually have to accept. Because you'll see certain oh whoa comics and stuff like that of Lucario portrayed a different way, and that's just as valid, I guess. You can choose not to accept the canon. That's another, again, the power of the Pokemon, I guess. There we go. It's wireless. Because Pokemon, oh, yeah, I know I'm trying to do that. Trying to beat this in one try. Okay, this is C dot. But anyways, oh, that just happened. But yeah, that's the thing about the Pokemon thing is because you basically can set your own expectations for Pokemon. And it's perfectly valid. You can say Pokemon names any way you like, basically, because it's like all inclusive. I would say it's not quite as all inclusive as say, well, okay, I'm gonna bring up something maybe controversial, so I have to preface that. But and I've realized I have to preface that because Nintendo is like suing this particular game company, so I have to preface that by saying, oh, this is gonna be controversial. But I did play Power World, and I played Power World quite a bit actually until it got way too. I mean, one of their patches was like 40 gigabytes, and it's like, okay, I guess I'm not playing this anymore. Um, I kind of liked what they did. Not so much the guns. The guns were kind of cool, you know, kind of like niche. But what I liked was okay. Well, there was a plot, but you didn't actually need to go for it. They didn't really thrust the plot into your face. Basically, as far as you know, you wake up an amnesiac on a deserted island where there are creatures. I mean, as far as I know, you're like an amnesiac. I don't know. But you can find like these journal entries around if you want to actually follow the actual canon plot. But you don't actually need to do that. For all you know, you can make up your own stories. Um, the Pokemon games are more structured, and I do like that about them. Power World was more like open world, as in you can basically make whatever plot you want. I mean, then there was the whole guns thing. Pals using guns, you know, pals being the Pokemon equivalent. And again, that was the draw because it was shocking, and it's something that Nintendo would never do, which is, and I don't fault Nintendo for suing them, really. The point is, and you'll hear this a lot, and I'm not hating on Power World at all. In fact, I admire Power World because it's a fun game. Um, Basically, all Power World did was they took the most addictive features of several popular games, and that's that. Now, it's controversial, but I'm going to say that, oh, I'm going to just say that just taking elements from a game, a popular game, and putting them in your own game as C dot doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have a good game. You're going to have an addictive game, but as you'll hear from most people, Power World wasn't exactly what they would call a good game. It was a fun game, but it was more open-ended, and that didn't translate real well to some people. I didn't really mind, though. I mean, and just a brief list of things. And again, I love the game. I love Power World. Don't get me wrong. I don't want people coming after me saying, "Oh, you hate Power World." I don't. I love Power World. It's probably one of my, I'm gonna say, top 5 favorite games ever. I just can't play it anymore because my laptop doesn't have enough space on it. But but again, I do love Pokemon. I mean, I grew up with Pokemon, so the nostalgia's there. Oh, and I just did that. Okay. Um, this is Ted Pig, by the way. Um, so I'm not hating on Power World by saying it isn't a good game. It's an addictive game. You have the base building elements from games like Rust and Ark Survival, which is pretty cool. You have some Fortnite stuff too. I've never actually played Fortnite, but there was like Fortnite stuff that they took also. Then there was like some of the Pokemon stuff because there's cute monsters and but I think what it lacked, and what I really liked about it, actually, not everyone liked this about it, but what I really liked about it was the open-endedness of it. But some people were like, "Oh, it's not a good game because it doesn't actually have a plot." To me, that says that to me that's like, "Oh, make your own plot." I mean, they give you the building blocks to basically make your own plot. Oh, we're up to level 7 again with 5 minutes. Okay, this is Smoochum. I can tell by the hair. So Power World is fun, but the caveat, however you pronounce it, I don't know, is that to actually get the plot, you actually have to find the journal entries, and they're out of sequence, and but it's really fascinating. The actual canon plot is really fascinating. Basically, the island is like obscured in this like mist that is impenetrable, and somehow you end up there, and it's interesting. And then of course there's like godlike pals like Jet Dragon and okay, okay. I think we'll start off with 3. Um, it's a good game though. And then they were gonna start like before Nintendo sued them, they were gonna have like a multimedia empire, and maybe they still will because they did team up with Terraria or something. They did a crossover, and maybe they'll have other crossovers. I really haven't been following what's been happening with Power World because I say one of their patches was 40 gigabytes, and it's like, oh wow, that's a little bit too much for my blood there. Too much space. I mean, I'm pretty sure the patch was probably worth it, but I mean, 40 gigabytes for a patch? I know it was at least 30 gigabytes because I only had like 20 gigabytes on my hard drive, and it's like, oh, you don't have space for this patch. And it's like, what? Since when are patches 30 gigabytes? But no hate. Um, it's a game I really enjoy though. Plus, it was multiplayer, which was fun because you and your friends could build bases, or help you with your base, or build their own bases, and you could go take on bosses. So I think it had a lot of replayability. I'd say infinite replayability. Some people had problems with the fact that you like enslaved your pals, and you could mistreat them, and stuff like that. That's something I never did. I always treated my pals right, but that was always something that people were like, oh, it's animal abuse. And if you wanted to, you could basically work your pals to death. And so yeah, that's nothing I ever did, but it's something that you could do. And again, that's something that Pokemon would never do. Which is why it was popular, is because people had been asking for like an open world Pokemon game for a long time. And this was like, and then this came out and it just took the world by storm. I mean, it was like for at least a couple of weeks, I think it was like the top consecutive plays on Steam. Got to the point where the developers were having trouble maintaining their server space because there were so many people playing. But I think it was because it was new. As people got used to it, then less and less people played it. It's still a really good game though, and I'm gonna say that, keep saying that. Granted, and Pokemon basically sold my soul to Pokemon, so it's like okay. But I will say that Gen 10 is looking pretty good. I'm not sure if it's a game I'm actually gonna buy though. I know I bought Scarlet and Violet when it came out on the day it came out, but I don't know. I don't think I'll have the money. I have to take in mind my lack of income this time. I probably could have afforded it if I hadn't bought the DLC for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Because then I ended up not having time to actually play the DLC, so I spent like $60 on content I never actually used, which is kind of sad. Because if I had that $60, I could probably afford Pokemon ZA. You know, just saying. But it's not like you can actually get a refund on DLC. Because technically I did play through Scarlet part way. I didn't play through the Violet DLC though. But it just that I ran out of time, and then I started posting 6 videos a day, and it's like, okay, there just wasn't time anymore. Okay, now we're just gonna have to hope that, ooh, wow. Okay. Okay. Okay, whoop, whoop. This is the way you're supposed to do it. Ooh, not like that. Ooh. Thankfully, we had the shields for that. Otherwise, that would have been disastrous. Oh, we made stage 8. There's only 10 levels. Oh, this is, Lillipup. I forgot that was a Gen 5 Pokemon. I thought for the longest time it was a Gen 7 Pokemon because of Pokemon Go. Because they released it like about the same time they released like Gen 7 Pokemon. It's like, oh, is Lillipup a Gen 7 Pokemon? And no, it was Gen 5. Um, or maybe my memory is fuzzy. I don't know. It seems like it was strange because I kind of remember them releasing Gen 7 and Lillipup being there, and it's like, okay, I don't know. But yeah, I highly recommend people check out Palworld. It's just pretty cool. I mean, if you like the base building aesthetic, and there's the fact you can actually starve and die in the game. You can take fall damage and die, and you can drown, you know, all that stuff. It's a survival game, basically. It really isn't anything. It's got elements of Pokemon, but not really. I mean, sure, it's got Pokemon type creatures in it, but it's mainly a survival game. It's more closely like Ark, Survival Evolved, and like Rust. I've actually never played Rust. I've heard a little bit about it, but apparently it's like a survival game. But yeah, it was fun. There's a whole playlist on the channel of me playing through Palworld or part way. But as for the actual canonic thing, then there's like interesting characters, and I mean, one of the characters is actually oops, whoa, okay. One of the characters is like if I remember right, I didn't get that far. I didn't really take on very many of the bosses. But one of the bosses is like, I want to say he's a drug dealer or something. I mean, literally. I mean, that's again something that Pokemon would never do. You know, have like a drug dealer be like one of their bosses. And one of them is like a PAL activist. You know, they're like they want to free all the pals. You know, kind of like In wanted to do, I guess. Was it In that wanted to free all the Pokemon, or was that Getsus, or was that what's his name? It wasn't Getsus. It was the guy in X and Y. You know, with the red hair. What was his name? I know it wasn't Getsus. And he had the weird little tentacle thing. You know, the technological thing with all the tentacles. I don't remember. See, I didn't have never actually played through Gen 5, but I like the Gen 5 Pokemon because it had Zoroark and Zorua and stuff. Um, no, wait, I'm thinking Gen 6. I mean, Gen 6 was X and Y. Gen 5 was like black and white, I think. But yeah, I can't remember his name. But he had like red goggles and he was like the bad guy, you know, and you were supposed to not know that he was the bad guy, but you could kind of like tell early on. Okay, well, it looks like we're about done here. I will say something funny that I remember because I watched someone play through Pokemon X and Y for the first time, and they did something kind of interesting and something I didn't realize you could do, which is why I'm bringing this up, and I also want to bring attention to this person's channel. Um, Madrybread did a full playthrough of Pokemon. It was either X or Y. I forget which one it was. It was one of those. Um, but again, I don't remember what the red guy's name was. The guy with the red hair. I don't remember what his name was. But anyways, so anyways, one of the plot points is that early on it's about Mega Evolution and you get a Lucario, right? Karina, you battle Karina, you beat Karina, and then the Lucario wants to join you, what I what he did was, well, he left the Lucario behind. He didn't want it, so he left the Lucario behind. I think he just did that to, make people mad. And they'd be like, "Oh no, you left the Lucario behind. Lucario is the most popular Pokemon," And he did it just for, the shock value. But I didn't realize you could actually do that. But you can. If you just never go pick up the Lucario, it just stays forever, like up in the top of the tower. Which is kind of sad, actually, if you think about it. But I just thought it was kind of interesting. Maybe not really funny. It was just like interesting because that's something that most people wouldn't think about. Like, oh well, I guess most people probably thought they had to take the Lucario, and most people would take the Lucario because Lucario is like one of the most popular Pokemon like in the entire franchise. Because there was that that thing contest, the not really contest, I guess, but the poll, to figure out what the most popular Pokemon in the world was. It was like Lucario. And I get that hype turns people off. I mean, people are getting fatigued from Charizard, from Charizard being in like every game, and from Gen 1 Pokemon being in every game and stuff. I get it. I mean, I get that there's like fatigue because there's just some Pokemon that they want you to love. I think that was the case with Greninja, and I kind of got fatigue over that. I mean, I get Greninja is like powerful, and then Greninja was able to like fuse with Ash, and then you had Ash Greninja, but I just feel that they tried to force Greninja down my throat, and it's just like, well, what about the other Pokemon? I mean, what about the other starters? You're just basically focusing on Greninja, just you know. And it kind of shows because Greninja was like really popular too. But a lot of that is like, Game Freak or Nintendo's just trying to get people to like a certain Pokemon. And then there were some Pokemon that they made that just because that way they didn't think anyone like Blaziken. They didn't think anyone actually liked Blaziken. But now it's super popular. But yeah, I just kind of had the fatigue over Greninja because it was everywhere and everyone was talking about Greninja. There's nothing wrong with Greninja. It's just like everyone is like, "Oh, I love Greninja. I love Greninja." But it's just basically because the Pokemon companies basically forced Greninja down everyone's throat, giving it the Ash Greninja form and stuff like that. I just didn't feel that the other starters got that kind of attention, the fair attention. But I do get it. There's a fatigue, and it shows. Oh, this is Volbeat. This is Clink. No, it's Clang. Okay, I don't know that line. This is Reuniclus. This is that's Machamp. I mean Machop. The first one. That's right. This is Luxray. You can tell by the stance. This is Tyranitar. Pelipper. But yeah, Kangaskhan. I know I get people, that like Greninja, and that's fine. I mean, I know that Pokemon 7 likes uh frogs, and so he loves it too. But then it gets to be fatigue after. Why am I not finding it? Oh, it's Diglett. I thought for a while there that was Wobbuffet. This is Snorlax. This is obviously Snorlax. That's. Oh no. It has to be Plusle. This is Pachirisu. That reminds me, I've got a shiny Pachirisu I need to check on. Chatot. There we go. A plus minus. Okay, so anyways, that is going to do it for this video. If you like this content, make sure you like and subscribe, ring the bell so you know when I upload. Also, if you want to support me in any way, or if you want to join the Discord server, all that information will be in the description below. If you made it this far, that's pretty cool, I guess. I just basically like to play this game because I can talk, completely unwind, stuff like that. Everything I say is just opinions. I don't want to make anybody mad. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching, everyone. You are loved, and have a great day.